When you master yourself, you master your reality. This is what the master teachers, all of the best speakers, all of the people that are leaders in spirit are pointing you in the direction of. They are telling you to master yourself. And when you understand this reality, the game of this reality from all levels and all perspectives, and you master each plane, then you gain control over your life and your reality, where you can manifest and call into your experience everything it is that you want from a place of ease or from a place of flow as the natural byproduct of who you are. And over the last 13 years, I have literally scoured the world and scoured the internet to find all of the best wisdom and knowledge and information as it relates to self-mastery. I started reading books when I was 16 years old. I've read close to 1,000 books at this time. I've invested nearly $250,000 to get world-class mentors, and I've specifically sought the best people in each category that I was looking to get wisdom and information from. Like, the people that did energetic work on me are the same ones that did energetic work on Tony Robbins. Some of my mentors in the past have 9-figure companies. Some of my friends are some of the best speakers in the world, and we've traveled to different parts of the world and spoken in front of hundreds of people at a time. And so all the information that I've gathered has been designed for self-mastery so that I can know myself truly and that I can maximize my confidence so that way I get the subsequent result that is associated with being a highly attuned being who is tuned into God's intelligence and God's guidance. And the subsequent results that followed are truly, truly astounding. And I'm telling you right now that when you master yourself, you literally master your reality. And if you look on the board right now, you'll see the Triforce. And a few years ago, I developed a framework called the Triforce of Mastery. And this has been one of the core tenets that I coach into my clients every single day. And this is the thing that leads to such exceptional results. If you guys look on like my Instagram and you ever see me posting any of my client results, they're pretty crazy, right? I have guys going from 0 to 100K in 2 months, 0 to 100K in 4 months, adding $72,000 to their business, literally first month working with me. I've had 7-figure business owners go to 8, and many other results in between, not just focused on money, right? Where a lot of my clients, they are reporting to me the fact that they are significantly more confident, they feel more peace, more flow, all of the emotional resistances that used to hold them back, like depression, anxiety, negative mental loops, overthinking, all those things are no longer a part of their reality, and that's because they are genuinely mastering themselves. And one of the things that has led to this result for them has been the Triforce of Mastery. And I came up with this a few years ago because I started to notice certain patterns in how people think, in how people that are excellent manifestors of their reality, how they feel, how they operate and execute within the physical dimension. And that's where the Triforce of Mastery was born. And if you know this symbol, you know where it comes from. There's a video game, it's my favorite video game, it's called Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And in that video game, Link, who's the main character, he holds the Triforce of Courage. And the princess of the story, she holds the Triforce of Wisdom. And they're both working together to take down the evil king, Ganondorf, who holds the Triforce of Power. And I literally modeled this. And even if you look at a lot of the ancient teachings, esoteric knowledge, hermetic principles, there's always this trinity that shows up throughout most of these teachings, right? In the Bible, there's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. In, Zelda, there's courage, wisdom, and power. In New Age teachings, it's mind, body, and soul. And even in the movie The Matrix, right, part of the reason that Neo is able to realize his full potential is because of the woman in the story, and her name is Trinity, right? So this Trinity shows up everywhere. And even if you think about occult wisdom and esoteric knowledge, they talk about this from the Hermetic philosophy, where there is the physical plane, there's the mental plane, and there's the spiritual plane. And one of the best books on this is called The Kabbalion by the Three Initiates. One of my top 2 favorite books, hands down. And one of the biggest principles is called the principle of correspondence. So as above, so below, and as below, so above. And what that means is whatever you experience on the physical dimension, in the physical plane, there is a mental and spiritual reason for why that's going on. And so even within the Triforce of Mastery, you're going to see some of the parallels between the esoteric philosophies and the Triforce of Mastery that I developed a few years ago, where I coach this into my clients. And it's almost like a model of this in a much more pragmatic and realistic sense of how you can achieve more success and attract more and bring to life your manifestations. Because ultimately, manifestation is not something where you sit around and pray that awesome circumstances and your dream job and your dream income and your dream partner and your dream friends and your dream experiences, that hopefully one day they become a part of your experience. No, it's actually embodying the energy and the frequency of someone who has those things already. That's the actual trick and the actual key to manifestation that the vast majority of spiritual gurus and spiritual teachers, they don't touch on. They just want you to meditate for 3 hours a day, do a cold plunge, eat a vegan diet, hold a crystal, and burn sage. And then hopefully, you read that tarot card and all of a sudden you get what you want. Now, like we can do away with all those things and stick to the foundational principles of what actually is real manifestation from the Hermetic and esoteric wisdom perspective that the master teachers have been talking about forever, right? Even in the Bible, the Hermetic philosophies dating back to Egypt, all of this information has been encoded into every single teaching, and it boils down to some version of this, okay? So we'll crack into this. We'll go into Triforce number 1. And again, you'll see how it lines up. It's very much in alignment with the Hermetic philosophy. You ever notice how life can be like the water temple? If you ever played Ocarina of Time, everyone always complains about the water temple. Only the real ones now. Comment down below if you ever went through the water temple. Tell me how frustrating it was. Tell me only real ones know. Okay. Triforce number 1, and I only write number 1 because in no particular order does this actually show up in your life. Number 1 is mindset mastery. And the reason I start with mindset mastery is because it's the easiest and most logical to understand, right? And this is essentially the mental plane, which is your thoughts and your beliefs about your reality. And in no particular order, it's not that mindset mastery is more important than the other two, but this is the easiest one to understand. And so whichever one of these resonates more for you, focus on that one for the next period of your life. And every time I show someone the Triforce of Mastery, a new client, a friend, there's always one of the pieces of the Triforce that really sticks out to them and that they're like, oh, light bulb goes off in my head. This is what I need to focus on so that way I can get better results in my life. And that's also something I'm a huge advocate for, and that's what genuine self-mastery is. It's the ability to actually compel your reality, compel your universe to reflect the inner mastery that you cultivate. Because what is the point of doing all of this personal growth and development if you're not genuinely experiencing more power, more freedom, more genius levels of thought, more creative spontaneity, better circumstances for yourself and the people that you love most? And it all starts with mindset mastery. And there's a lot of baseline psychology that goes into this. And so you have your conscious and your subconscious mind, right? And there's even superconscious mind, which is, if you ever see anybody that channels interdimensional beings or people that are in a super extremely deep like trance where they're receiving downloads of information from God, they're in a super conscious state where they're almost like out of body, astral projection and things like that. It's the gamma wave frequency that your brain will emit when you're extremely in trance, right? But when it comes to actually reprogramming your subconscious mind for wealth and for the manifestations that you're looking to cultivate within your life, a lot of this happens in the subconscious mind, because what you're consciously focused on is determined by your subconscious mind. 99% of your life is lived through your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is the storehouse of all of your perceptions of reality, what you believe to be true about your reality, which is a construct of the experiences you had growing up, your childhood traumas, all the things that you've learned throughout your time, all of those horrible experiences that have programmed you into a negative state, into limited thinking and put you inside of a box. We are essentially programming that out of your mind. And by virtue of this, your conscious mind will start to look for evidence of your infiniteness of potential, your infinite power, the genius levels of thought, the infinite opportunities that you have access to, but you're not accessing them because you're subconsciously not focused or wired for that. You're not wired right now in this moment, you're not wired for that living. But the whole point of this video is to reprogram that so that way you start to access the opportunities that will provide the foundation for you to experience more in life. And so the way this is done, there's a two-step, if you boiled everything down, if you boiled all the teachings, all of the books that you can read about psychology, all of the esoteric teachings, everything, and you boiled it down to two steps. Number one is clarity, and number two is elimination. Jose, what do you mean by this? Relax. I'll explain. Okay. So number one is you get very, very clear on what it is that you want out of your life. And oftentimes I'll ask people, I'll ask clients, I'll ask prospective clients, people that are interested in working with me. I'll ask my friends, if everything in your life was going exactly the way you wanted it to, what would your life look like? How much money would you be making? What kind of friends would you be associated with? Where would you live? What kind of reality would you live in? It's really interesting how people are not clear on what they want. People will go their entire life not ever specifically declaring to the world and to the universe what they want specifically, let alone sit down and figure out what those things are. A lot of times, mastering yourself isn't about doing more work, it's about slowing down and connecting with yourself, right? And that's why I'm an advocate for solitude and isolation, which isn't the same thing as being a lonely person, but it's about having such a beautiful and synchronistic connection with yourself that you can sit in solitude and derive power and truth from that. You see, the vast majority of people, they spend zero time alone because they're afraid of their own thoughts. They have no mindset mastery. They have no mental mastery. But you're different and you're cultivating mental mastery. So you are going to take some time to figure out what it is you want specifically out of your world. And one of the few I'm not a big exercise person when it comes to facilitating transformation in others, because exercises and strategies and techniques aren't really the answer, aren't really the solution, right? Every other spiritual guru, every other coach or person that is some kind of mental consultant to others has these little cute techniques and strategies for how they get their clients results. And I stay away from strategies because your reality and your ability to manifest whatever it is that you want is more dependent upon your energy. And so shifting your frequency is the thing that actually solves your problems on the physical perspective. Remember, there's the physical plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane. Shifting your spiritual and mental frequency actually affects change on your physical plane, your physical dimension of existence. However, one of the exercises I do run through with my clients is about developing mental clarity on what their intention is. What is their intention for life? And to get clear on those intentions on all of the most important categories. And oftentimes, one of the main questions I ask people, because money is so directly connected to the human experience and your quality of existence, is how much money do you want to be making per month? If everything in your life was going exactly the way you wanted it to, how much would you be making per month? Almost every single time, without fail, people that aren't masters themselves, they'll say, oh, well, I think what's realistic is this thing, this number, if I got to 10K per month, that might be good, or 20K per month, that might be good, right? Nope, wrong answer, right? Because the question was if everything in your life was going exactly the way you wanted it to, if you were at the highest levels, right? Albert Einstein famously said that you cannot solve your problems on the level that you mentally created them. So you're thinking about your life's intentions from the level of a limited experience, right? This is backwards. You have to start to think and feel as the highest version of yourself, because people that are massively successful in this world, I'm telling you, like the best speakers, the best energetic healers, the best entrepreneurs, the people that get the highest level results are all thinking not realistically, but they're thinking delusionally, right? And being delusional is only delusional to realistic people, to the 98% of people that live in a limited reality. Okay, so when you start talking about your high-level goals and where you want to go with your life and all the beautiful manifestations that you are calling into existence, when you start telling that to people, they're going to call you delusional. There's no way that's possible. There's no way that you can do that. There's no way that you have enough time to create those things. And they'll start to mirror and reflect to you all of their own limitations because they live in a limited reality. But you're not like 98% of people. You're like the 2% of people that think bigger, right? You have to think bigger, because if you think 10K per month is a valuable goal, I'm telling you right now, it is not, because you're going to get there. You're going to realize it's not really much. And then you start to meet people that are making millions of dollars and you're like, oh shit, like let's go that way, right? And so oftentimes even associating with higher level people is a subconscious pattern shattering experience, because you're just like, oh my gosh, these people aren't all that much more special than me. These people aren't 10,000 steps ahead of me. They just think differently. Okay. And so when you master your mind, you think differently. And the first step into mastering your mind is to develop clarity about what it is that you want, not from a realistic standpoint, but not even, let's take out the word delusional because there's such a negative connotation to delusion, but from infinite potential and infinite possibility, because there is literally infinite possibility, infinite life tracks, infinite timelines that you can walk down where there is not only a lot less friction, there's a lot less resistance in connection to what you are cultivating, but it is significantly higher, is way better quality, way higher quality, more money, dream outcome, dream circumstances, amazing friends, amazing business partners, amazing energy, amazing love, okay? And that is the truth of your existence. You do not live in a limited reality, you live in an infinite reality. And people that have a spiritual awakening are very in tune with that and are very aware of the nature of this reality. But you have to understand the principles. You have to understand the foundational principles that are associated with living like the Hermeticists and the alchemists that literally create anything out of nothing. Turn lead into gold, right? And the second process is, okay, once you've developed clarity out of what it is that you want, it's elimination. And this is the elimination of any limiting beliefs and any negative mental programming. And there's a famous psychology in the 90s. His name was John Bradshaw. John Bradshaw did an experiment, and what he found was that 96% of families are dysfunctional to some degree. To some degree, right? There's massive dysfunction, there's mild dysfunction, but dysfunction is all the same. It is disconnection from self. I often say that people that are realistic or disconnected from God, what they are is forgetful souls. They are forgetting the nature of this reality. And when people have a spiritual awakening and they master their minds and they master the mental plane of existence, it's not that they're learning anything new, and it's not that life is a school of lessons. You're actually what is actually going on is you're remembering the essence of who you are, the infiniteness of your being, right? And 96% of people are programmed out of that because of society, and because of generational traumas, and because of negative experiences that you accumulate over your lifetime. And so by the time you're an adult, you just have all these limitations, right? Kanye West famously said this in an interview, right? You tell a kid to jump off the coffee table, right? So you say, no, don't get on the coffee table. And you keep telling the kid, no, because you have to discipline the kid. You have to discipline them. You have to make sure they fall in line. You have to make sure that they're not an outcasted member of society. But by the time that kid is an adult, his entire reality is just coffee tables, wall to wall, from floor to ceiling, right? And this is what 96% of people encounter. And this number, interestingly, is in alignment with, if you ever read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, which is one of my other top 5 favorite books. Napoleon Hill, when he's having a conversation with the devil says he grips 98% of people. So only 2% of people ever actually achieve genuine freedom and are genuine alchemists of their reality, right? And so it's almost like when you master your mind, you kind of lose your mind a little bit. And what actually happens is you lose your mind and you come to your senses. Because your physical reality is only observable by your 5 senses, but you have a metaphysical experience to you. This is where in the Trinity talks about the soul. And as a matter of fact, mindset mastery is closely linked to the spiritual plane. And in the Triforce of Mastery, it's closely linked to the second Triforce. And when you understand this, it's kind of destabilizing for your reality, because you start to question your reality and question who you are. But all that's going on is you're challenging and eliminating the negative mental programming that is stopping you from living in alignment with your highest truths, your highest levels of confidence, your highest level of clarity, which is going to bring about all of the manifestations that you want. And so it's about walking away from the 96 and the 98% of negative mental programming that the vast majority of people are bound by. And that's a scary thing to do. It's very scary. It's very challenging. It creates all of this uncertainty. But your ability to embrace that uncertainty is why you will step into the 2% category, the top 1% of people that actually achieve genuine freedom and genuine sovereignty from the mental and even the spiritual level. And once you've lost your mind and got rid of all the negative mental programming, the final component to this, let's change up the marker. Let's do this in red, because this is massively important. So once you've gained clarity, and once you've eliminated all the things that sabotage your manifestations, discipline. That is one of the most important and crucial skill sets and mindsets and frequencies to vibrate on, because you don't get something for nothing. And this is why the vast majority of manifestation strategies and spiritual teachings from gurus that just say sit around and meditate until, or The Secret, right? You just sit on a couch and pray and think about the thing that you want, and then magically it'll show up. No, you have to go out and actually take action. And you have to be a very disciplined person so that you can take consistent action, and on a long enough time horizon, you will achieve what you deserve, right? Remember, you don't get something from nothing. What you get is what you put out. And so if you have all of this, if you have this component, right, you challenge the programming, you start to become more intentional about how you are going to live, but then you don't exhibit any kind of discipline, and you only take action on the things you want when it feels nice, or when you feel motivated, when you feel inspired. Well, guess what? You're not going to get good results. You're not going to actually be able to persist past the challenges that are associated with stepping into the unknown, with stepping into a higher dimension of existence. And so discipline is one of the absolute core frequencies, one of the core habits to develop in your life, because no one actually achieves a high quality, exceptional life without having some form of discipline. And by the way, this is why people that are fit, people that have awesome physiques, people that have built their physique are usually very successful in other aspects of their life as well. They're successful in relationships. They're successful in, a lot of the best entrepreneurs are extremely fit. They're in the gym every single day. Why? Well, it's because discipline is a transferable habit. So the discipline you cultivate in one category of your life transfers over into other categories of your life as well. And so when you do the process of getting clear on what you want your body to look like, what you want your friends to look like, what you want your finances and your business to look like, what you want your lifestyle and the adventures that you go on to look like, and then you start to exhibit the discipline in those areas, it literally bleeds into every other aspect of your life. And just like in the video game, The Legend of Zelda, right? When Link has to go into these scary dungeons and conquer all these demons and they're attacking him, well, you're going to have to exhibit that same level of discipline so that way you can get to the end of the story and be the hero of your own journey. Literally no one ever gets to exceptional levels in life without displaying some level of discipline and accountability, self-accountability. You need to be able to tell yourself that I'm not taking action. I'm not in alignment with my highest truths, and then get to work. Go take action on those things, okay? And as a matter of fact, when you master your mind, discipline becomes easy. A lot of times, the discipline that I talked about earlier, when you discipline a child, it's like negative discipline. You're like bashing a child and you're telling yourself no, and people beat themselves up in this exact way. They don't come from compassion. They don't come from love. And so this is healthy discipline. This is, you're so connected to what your vision is, and you feel the truth of it in your existence, and you're tuned into your infinite potential and your infinite being. Well, then you naturally become a disciplined person. You naturally display consistency, because discipline is the greatest form of self-trust. And there's even a momentum aspect to this, right? Running out of space here. Over time, you're so consistent, and then the path becomes easier. But the thing is, it's not that the path is easier, it's that you become so formidable. You become so valuable. You become so attractive to the things that you want that they just start showing up in your reality. And this is why I say that the success that you're looking for, when you see other people that have that, it's not that they're 10,000 steps ahead of you. It's just that they've been more disciplined and have a lot more momentum because they've shown consistency for a much longer period of time. And so wherever you're at, if you're already successful in business and you want to get to that next level, or you're just starting out on your journey, when you master your mind and you cultivate momentum and you show that consistency, the universe will reward you by helping you and giving you support, even in the times where you experience the most amount of misfortune. As every single person runs into times where they have uncertainty. But because you've mastered your mind, the universe is on your side. The world is working for you. As it says in the book, The Alchemist, which is a fictional story, right? One of my other favorite books. The universe conspires for you to achieve greatness when you master your mind and when you are aligned from a higher level perspective to the things that you want. Mindset mastery. And mindset mastery is very closely linked with the second step of the Triforce. And so if mindset mastery is your mind, and spiritual, which is the mental plane, and the spiritual plane is the second Triforce, what do you think it is that you're mastering here? Comment down below if you know what the answer is. And if you get it right, I'll give you a cookie. I wouldn't have any way of verifying if you just rewinded the video and put the answer in. But if you already know the answer, then you're one step ahead of the game. Oh. Emotional mastery. Did you get it right? And if mindset mastery is a space shuttle, emotional mastery is the fuel that launches you into the stratosphere and helps you to achieve escape velocity. Escape velocity is an aeronautical aviation term where you develop so much velocity that you break through the atmosphere. And emotional mastery allows you to break through the atmosphere of your life. Whatever vibration you find yourself in right now, whatever negative circumstances or limited circumstances you find yourself in right now, when you achieve escape velocity, it's like you literally can accomplish anything. And just like I was saying before, this is the spiritual plane, the spiritual level of mastery that is cultivated from the Hermetic perspective, okay? And this is achieved through mastering your heart. And when you master your mind in conjunction with your heart, you achieve heart-mind union. And the union between your heart and mind is one of the most powerful forces that anyone can exhibit, that anyone can achieve. And if you ever listen to the work of like Joe Dispenza, he has a few books on this. One is called How to Become Supernatural or something like that. But what he talks about when it comes to heart-mind union is you become clear on what you want from the mental perspective, and you become heart-centered from the emotional perspective. And that is the thing that penetrates your reality with precision and force, okay? It's like your mind is sending out the signal to the world of what it is that you want, and your heart is magnetizing it to you. It's the magnet that brings everything that you want. But the thing is, people aren't masters of their hearts. Why? Because life is tough. And when life is difficult, what do people resort to? They resort to emotional suppression. And so by suppressing your emotions because it's difficult to deal with, right? It's difficult to deal with your emotions, you actually cut off your heart. And it's really interesting, especially nowadays, there's this like narrative, we're like returning to this narrative of hyper masculine. If you know some of those figures over the last couple of years that became very, very popular and world famous, and they're advocating for like the hyper masculine perspective of like work, grind. I hate all these influencers that are extremely famous nowadays that are just like grind and work hard. And if you don't have a six pack, you're not successful. And if you don't work 100 hours per week, then you're nothing, you're shit, right? And they wear their hard work and they wear their grind mindset of being super hyper masculine as like a badge of honor. And the thing is, hyper masculine is only very attractive to people that are not masters of themselves, people that are misaligned, because they're searching for meaning out of life, and they're looking to declare and establish their importance and prove to the universe that they're worthy of that next level of success. And the interesting thing is like it's like a rabbit chasing a carrot, and it never actually gets the carrot. So you work, grind, you get to that next level, and then all of a sudden you still feel empty because you emotionally suppressed yourself the entire time. Horrible strategy, worst strategy possible. Emotional suppression is only good in short-term time frames. If you have a deadline, or if you have many responsibilities, or you've been extremely lazy for a long period of time and now you have to play catch up with life, okay, maybe you need to suppress your emotions a little bit because you have to get to like a baseline level of stability and security. But after that, emotional suppression is the absolute worst strategy, because guess what? You're cutting off the magnetism of your heart. And so what you need to be exhibiting instead is what I call emotional vulnerability. Because this is the thing, the vulnerability aspect is the core of who you are. Oftentimes it's said in spiritual teachings, and this is something that I also coach into people all the time, is that at your core, you are God. You are love. You are the one consciousness that connects every single person. And the world that you live in, the reality of your experience is going to be a direct reflection of the vulnerability that you share, the authenticity that you share, the unapologeticness of your being and your commitment to that. And the thing is, when people are emotionally cut off, you're actually suppressing who you are. You're suppressing who you are. And so it's significantly more difficult to connect with people. The most important, even for networking in business, one of the most important things to be is vulnerable. Because if you can't be honest from a high level of integrity with the people around you, if you can't be honest about how you're thinking or how you're feeling, well, then life becomes this fucking chess match and you're playing chess 24/7 and it's extremely exhausting. And then you become a shell of who you are. What the world needs, the world doesn't need more billionaires. The world doesn't need more influencers. It doesn't need more Lamborghinis. It needs more heart-centered humans. And in this way, by the way, you can get all those things. You can get all the things you want from the physical perspective and the physical dimension, all those high-level things that you're looking for. You can get those things significantly easier when you exhibit emotional vulnerability and when you connect your heart and your mind. Because you're no longer having to do things that you don't want to do, and you can operate within a reality and within a perception of reality that the things that you want you. Remember, what you get is what you put out. And so if you're putting out love and you're putting out heart-mind union, that person is extremely attractive in business. I can tell you 100 different stories of people that I personally know that don't have a huge social media following, that are talking about this grind, hyper-masculine mindset, that get equal, if not better results than some of those influencers that you're watching. I'm telling you right now, turn that shit off. Turn that shit off right now. And as a matter of fact, you should be turning off the majority of personal growth and development content in the first place, because anything outside of even the Triforce of Mastery or even the Hermetic principles and the Hermetic philosophies of mastering the three planes is just chatter. It's just more work. It's just more spiritual busy work. It's just more physical work. And although those things are nice to do, they're not the thing that actually lead to high quality results. It's kind of like the same thing in the gym, right? You can go to the gym every single day and still not have the physique that you want. Because what actually is the thing that contributes to having a high quality physique? For sure, it's putting in the work, right? But you also have to focus on your diet. You have to focus on your sleep. You have to focus on your energy, right? People that view themselves as physically fit and are in love with their body and view their body as a beautiful temple and a beautiful vessel, and they honor that, they don't even have to go to the gym all that often. They don't have to go as much as the person who's taking steroids and 100 different supplements, and yet they have a better physique and their body functions better than some of those people. Okay, so in this same way, it is the deeper layer, their deeper level of mastery that actually contributes to your mental clarity, right? Your energetic clarity is going to influence your mental clarity. And when you're thinking from that higher level perspective, you start to tune into your genius levels of thought and vibration. When you're totally unapologetic about who you are, what you're feeling, and you reconciled all of the negative programming because you're a heart-centered human and you've given yourself the space to feel what you need to feel, all of a sudden you tap into a different vibration, because every single person on the inside, right? When you strip away your ego, you strip away the labels and who you think you are, and you start to view your reality not from the physical senses that you have, not from your five senses, but from the energetic perspective, right? You start to recognize the fact that you are simply a child. You are a child of God, the same way Jesus says in the Bible. Children of God are the one that inherit heaven. Okay. Actually, on my phone, the background picture is a baby picture of me, right? I showed I was with a friend and he saw like my phone, the background picture on my phone. He's like, that looks kind of narcissistic. Why do you have a baby picture of you? I'm like, no. I have a baby picture of me because at all times, if I ever get hypercritical on myself, or I'm being hard on myself, and I look at my phone and I see that baby picture of me, it reminds me of the fact that that's who I'm talking to. When you're hypercritical of yourself and you put all this pressure on who you think you need to be, or that you need to work extremely hard, and you're negatively disciplining yourself and you're saying all this negative shit to yourself, that's who you're actually talking to. You're not talking to the self, the you right now, the adult version of you. You're talking to the inner child. Every single person has an inner child. And so emotional vulnerability allows you to give yourself the love that you needed as a child. Even if you had a lot of love and you still found a way to overthink things and beat yourself up, talking to your inner child with compassion because you've developed emotional vulnerability is literally a superpower. It allows you to not only unlock genius levels of thought, but to accomplish things in the physical dimension that are far greater than you can ever imagine. And everybody needs more of this. This is what we need more of. We don't need more successful influencers driving Bugattis. We need more heart-centered people that are communicating to their inner child with love and compassion and patience and forgiveness, okay? And through emotional mastery, that is achieved and cultivated, which is literally mastery of the spiritual plane. And one of the other Hermetic principles, there's 7 Hermetic principles. One of them that I think I talked about it earlier. Maybe I said it in another video. I was on a call earlier today. But one of the Hermetic principles is the principle of rhythm. Let me change the marker. Rhythm. All right. And if you look at the ocean, the tides come in, the tides come out. If you look at light waves, it's vibration. Vibration is in waves, in and out, up and down, frequency. And so when you recognize the rhythm of you and your emotions as a person, and you're more in flow with that rhythm, and you use law against law, because the law of rhythm, what it's essentially telling you that there's going to be moments where you feel amazing. There's going to be moments where you're on top of the world, or you're massively confident, where you just have the right things to say. And then there's going to be other moments where you're a little bit slower, or you're less effective, or you're disconnected from genius. Every single person experiences this in their life. Every single person has a certain emotional frequency that they are radiating. And to the swing of the pendulum to the left is the swing of the pendulum to the right. Okay, and this is why emotional suppression, you stop the swing of the pendulum. And so people who are emotionally cut off and emotionally disconnected, maybe they don't feel that much pain, right? People that are emotionally disconnected, maybe they don't feel that much, so they don't have that many waves, right? They don't feel that much pain. They've never acknowledged their trauma. They've never acknowledged their negative mental programming, which inherently involves some level of having to feel your hurt and reconcile some of those feelings. But they also never actually experience joy and peace of mind and abundance, okay? Because the swing of the pendulum to the left is a swing of the pendulum to the right. And so what you want to do is be the type of person that feels it all. And the thing is, the peaks and the troughs, right? The bottom of the rhythm, the bottom of the pendulum, you think it's this really scary thing, and that there's no way that you can possibly deal with it. And that it's so painful that you store it away in your subconscious mind forever, and that it's not actually there. This is why ignorance is bliss doesn't work, because all you're really doing is you're sabotaging the quality of your life and your ability to manifest things far greater than you can even imagine right now. You have a higher mind and you have a physical mind, and your higher mind is feeling the rhythm, whether you are, it sounds like that movie, that Jamaican bobsled movie, feel the rhythm, feel the right. But your higher mind is in tune with this rhythm, but your physical mind is scared to feel it because, oh my gosh, it's so treacherous. Feeling your heart is, emotional mastery is not for the faint of heart. If you don't have the courage and the wisdom to sit with your emotions and reconcile everything that's happened to you, so that way you can achieve peace and joy and bliss and genuine enlightenment, well, then you're always going to vibrate at a very low frequency. People that don't embrace their rhythm and use law against law to absolve themselves of the big swings are vibrating at a low frequency, and so they get low quality results. And even if they do achieve good results in the physical dimension, what is it to give up your soul in pursuit of all the materialistic success? Just like in the Bible it says, right? The riches is in the spiritual connection, right? How many stories have you heard of people that have more money than they know what to do with, and yet they're absolutely miserable? You do not want to be like those people, okay? And you don't have to be. And this is your key. This is literally the key to unlocking all of the greatest manifestations without having to be an emotionally suppressed person. Okay, are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Are you understanding the importance of this? Of why it is not only important, but even worthwhile. It is extremely worthwhile to allow for whatever it is to come up, and to feel it fully. As they say, resistance is persistence. Okay? What you resist persists. And so all of those feelings of anxiety, depression, and particularly guilt and shame, let's be specific here. The feelings and the vibration of guilt and shame are the lowest vibrational frequencies that anybody can be in. And it's really, really, guilt and shame are the thing that gets thrown around so casually throughout society. Like, how many times you should be ashamed of this, you should be ashamed of that. You should be ashamed of the fact that you're trying to go for more and be this exceptional person because you're going to leave everybody else behind. Or you should feel guilty because you cut off certain friends just because they weren't in alignment with what you wanted, right? Or they were trying to be realistic with you and they were trying to protect you. You should feel guilt and shame. Eliminate guilt and shame from your vibration, okay? And the thing is, you have to tune in to the feeling. You have to actually feel it fully in order to transcend it, right? Kind of like if you're driving on an ice road and your car starts to spin out because you hit black ice, if you keep trying to turn away from the skid, that's how you actually end up crashing. But if you turn into the skid, you give the car a chance to find alignment again, and then you don't swerve off the road and die. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to even your energetic and spiritual connection. When you resist it and you store it away in your subconscious mind, it doesn't actually go away. It'll manifest in way more dangerous and malicious ways. This is why you'll see people that have chronic diseases and chronic illnesses when there's literally the vast majority of diseases are preventable. What is a disease? Dis-ease. It is a lack of alignment. It is a lack of emotional and spiritual harmony within oneself. And the thing is, especially in like westernized countries like the US, we're very success oriented. So go be successful, go be a doctor, go work 12 hours a day for 20 years on end. And yet people are dying from heart attacks at like 40, 45 years old. And people are obese and people are miserable with their lives. 96% of people are emotionally, if I go back to mindset mastery, 96% of people in their lives are emotionally disconnected. They're disconnected from God's intuition. They're disconnected from the beauty and the spontaneity of life. But that's because they never actually tune into the rhythm of who they are. They don't tune into the rhythm of their spiritual essence, and they don't achieve spiritual mastery. We're not doing that here, and you're not going to do this anymore. You are committed to the vision of being at your best self. Master yourself in the spiritual plane, and you master the physical plane. It's one of the other laws from the Kabbalion of the 7 Hermetic principles: as above, so below, and as below, so above. So the pain and the uncertainty or the misfortune you experience in the physical realm is a byproduct of your spiritual connection. So if you're misaligned on the spiritual level, you're going to experience all kinds of lack of power, lack of clarity, and misfortune on the physical level. And so you have to master your spiritual plane. I'm telling you right now, it is the most important aspect of self-mastery. The emotional aspect is the key that unlocks all of your manifestations in the first place. And when you don't tune into this perspective, that'll be the thing that invites all kinds of dis-ease in your life. I had someone ask me in the comments if I've ever taken ayahuasca or shrooms or anything like that. I have not. Not really. I think a lot of that stuff. I know people that have done that and they do a bunch of ayahuasca ceremonies and journeys and whatnot. I don't know that they're actually better for it. Genuinely. I can count on one hand of all the people that I know that have done all of those plant medicines, and they're actually more aligned and more powerful beings. I don't know, I think all that shit is like a fad. The trend is not your friend. As they say in like day trading and investing, the trend is your friend. On the spiritual and energetic perspective, the trend is not your friend. I mean, I've tried ayahuasca, but it wasn't like... One of my closest friends is a Reiki shaman, so he goes to Brazil. He goes to the Amazon jungle and gets like pure ayahuasca, and it was, I didn't shoot into another dimension. I just felt calm. It was like, I don't know what it was like. It felt like a long meditation. That's what it felt like. Okay, the final piece of the Triforce. This is where we bring it back to the physical dimension. Communication mastery. And this is what you'll experience on the physical plane of physical mastery, mastery of the third dimension. Because like it or not, you are going to be communicating for the rest of your life. Unless you're going to live like a hermit in a cave and eat fish and just live off the land and live off the grid, well, then you're probably going to be interacting with people for the rest of your life, literally, right? You're going to have romantic partners, you're going to have friends, you're going to have networks of people that you associate with, you're going to have work colleagues, you're going to have business partners, you have your parents and your family to communicate with. And so it's really interesting how people will go their entire life. They'll go become doctors, they'll go become engineers, they'll go become, I don't know, they'll work at Chick-fil-A forever, whatever the case is, but they never actually spend any time to actually master their ability to communicate with people. And this is one of those skill sets, whether you're just starting out in business or whether you are already successful and you want to get to that next level, be a better leader, be a better facilitator of transformation in others, be able to lead teams to make more money, make more sales revenue, all those things. Communication mastery is literally the key. And there's a lot of very successful people out there, especially in business, that have like zero communication skills. I've met tons and tons of people that are millionaires, whether it was from like a crypto run up or investing or something like that, and they have like the worst communication skills ever. They have no idea how to strike up rapport. They have no idea how to elaborate or articulate sophisticated points. And it's almost like, cool, you got a bunch of money, but then it's like you have no power to, there's no like power to you, you know? And even going back to like the Triforce of Mastery from the Triforce from The Legend of Zelda, right? So Link has the Triforce of Courage, which is mindset mastery, bulletproof mindset. The Triforce of Wisdom is what Zelda has, and she's like the feminine polarity. The feminine is more reflective, introspective, spiritually connected. She can see things and provide wisdom that is far beyond what the mind can even perceive. And the Triforce of Power, which is like the evil character in the game, is power. It's the power in your life to literally take your life in control, take your results and your outcomes into your own hands and compel the universe to give you what you want. And a lot of this is a byproduct of your communication mastery. And even me personally, I have studied the art of sales for the last 10 years, last 11 years or so. I've been literally studying sales. I've studied all of the best people. And a lot of my best mentors are some of the best salespeople in the world. And there's this like negative connotation when it comes to sales and salespeople, because a lot of people that get into the industry have low levels of integrity. They're just a bunch of fucking scammers, and they want to take your money, provide you no value. And you want to stay extremely far away from those people. You want to cut those people out of your life. And this is why even a lot of the big sales gurus that are really popular and famous now, they're all just a bunch of scammers too. All of them have these fucking scandals. All of them have these very low integrity things that they did throughout their journey, and somehow they're still famous. I have no idea how this works, but this just goes to show you that people are in such low vibrations that they just believe anything that is thrown their way, and they follow the herd and they follow the crowd like sheep, and never actually can think for themselves and say, wait, this isn't this isn't cool. This isn't okay what they're doing. So of all the things when it comes to mindset mastery, I want to say this right now. Integrity. Integrity is one of my core values, and I have 7 core values: wisdom, wealth, authenticity, love, simplicity, confidence, integrity. Okay? And integrity is one of my core values because I don't engage in any kind of communication, business relationship unless it's mutually beneficial for me and the other person. But the thing is, communication mastery is absolutely imperative, because in a world where there's a ton of darkness and a bunch of people that don't have integrity, you need to be aware of how the game is played so you can absolve yourself of the pain and absolve yourself of the backstabbing and all the shit that goes on in business, but because you understand communication at the highest levels. And if you were to break down even sales is a very spiritual thing, by the way. Like, sales is one of the most spiritual things, and it's literally a reflection of life, because the mindsets and the energies and the vibrations that get you high quality results in sales are the same energies and frequencies and mindsets and habits that get you good results in life. And so that's why I've particularly studied this, because I understood at a very early age, oh, this is part of one of the aspects, the most important aspects of living a high quality and exceptional life. But if you were to boil down communication mastery and people that are masters of influence, what are they doing at a core level, at a baseline foundational level? They're doing 2 things. Condensation. No. Number 1 is they're massively confident. It looks ugly. Number 2, they are very empathetic. And so if you're an empath, if you consider yourself an empath and you can feel for other people, you might actually have a good foundation for communication. Because if you are massively confident, right, and the confidence is the aspect of you that is so resolute on what you want and is determined at the highest levels that nothing is going to knock you off your path and you are going to compel the universe to give you what you want, that is a massively confident person. However, if you're all confidence and no empathy, that is where you'll see all these people that do very low integrity things, and they're almost like psychopathic and narcissistic to some extent. And you want to stay away from those people, and you do not want to be one of those people yourself. You always want to come from love and always come from a heart-centered perspective of, how can I help this person and how can they help me also? Mutually beneficial. All ships rise with the tide. All ships rise with the rhythm. And so empathy is also a core aspect here, because you need to feel for the other person and put yourself in their shoes and understand what their actual problem is. And, even if you want to think about business, entrepreneurship, and even networking in general, all of it is based upon value. And you want to ask yourself, how can I provide value in every situation that I find myself in? Because people that are highly magnetic in their communication, everywhere they go, they provide value. And whether that is maybe money, maybe it could be experiences that you can provide, knowledge and wisdom. It can be you can plug someone else. Okay, if you don't have the answer, you can find someone that does have the answer, right? How can I be of service? How can I be of value to the people in my circle, to the people that I want to connect with? And when you have this perspective, this is really the epitome of communication mastery. And also, if you think about this from like a status perspective, people that have a lot of status have a lot of influence. And the reason they have a lot of status and influence is because they are able to provide a surplus of value. Surplus of value is even like a marketing principle. Any business that you create or any business that you are a part of, what you're looking to do is to create a surplus of value to the point where being your friend, being a client of yours, being a part of your circle is literally a no-brainer. It would be stupid to not be your friend. This is literally how I live my life. Every single person that comes around me, their life is significantly better. They're more confident in themselves. Because I see, and if anything, this is like the fortunate or unfortunate aspect of being a spiritually awakened person, is you see the beauty in other people. You see more than they see in themselves. And oftentimes, if you believe in the wrong people, well, you kind of get burned for it. And that's happened enough times to me where I've cultivated discernment, right? So part of even a spiritual awakening on one level, it's like, yes, love and abundance and love everybody. And also there needs to be a fortification of your realm through discernment. You don't just let anybody into your realm. You let the right people that have integrity. But the whole point of this is people that are effective communicators and have a ton of influence, it's literally a no-brainer to be a part of this person's circle, to be a part of their network. Why? Because they provide such a surplus of value that it's like your life is going to be significantly better. And this is how every single person that comes around me, whether it's my friends, my family, acquaintances, clients, every single person's life is significantly better because they have the backbone, they have the support of a friend and of a person and of a mentor that literally sees the God in them. And when you are aligned with those types of people and when you have that kind of energy around you, guess what happens? You rise to that. You rise to that frequency, right? Energy is sticky. Frequency is sticky. And positive energy is sticky, and so is negative. Negative energy is sticky as well. So if you're around people that don't provide value, that just sit on the couch and smoke weed, and they have no goals and they have no ambition and they don't really care about their life, they have no will to live. And guess what? If you stick around those people long enough, you're going to develop that same exact frequency because frequency is sticky. It unconsciously latches onto your energy, is parasitic in nature. So you want to align with people that have symbiotic energy, mutually beneficial energy, where everyone can rise together. Everyone wins together. And this is all an aspect of communication mastery because people that are compelling speakers, people that are amazing influencers and that are able to compel other people into action, right? When they exhibit confidence and empathy and they just have this magnetism to them, they get more of what they want, right? This entire reality, when you interact with other people, it's an exchange of value. And so when you master your mind and you master your emotional and spiritual connection with yourself, it's like the words don't even matter, right? And this is a huge aspect about communication mastery because when you think about communication, you think about words, right? You're talking to people. But the words don't matter. And there's even psychological studies that talk about this, right? There's psychological studies that determine verbal communication versus nonverbal communication. And the vast majority of people think that their outcomes in social situations is determined by their verbal communication. They think the words that they are saying actually matter, but in truth, it's your nonverbal communication. And some of these studies, they cite different percentages, like some of them say 55% is nonverbal. Other study will say 93% of your outcomes in social situations is nonverbal. And so if you take like the median, right, 70 to 75% of your communication situations is determined by your nonverbal communication. It's your energy, it's your frequency. Are you guys starting to see the picture? The thing that gives you the power in your life in the first place and that determines your physical experience is your energy. And what you'll find is that when you focus on the energetic perspective and the mental perspective, and you figure out ways to provide value to other people, it's like the words just start to show up, right? Like, whenever I do videos, I've spoken on stages for 4 hours. Some of my friends will speak on stage for literally 12 hours. It's like, how do you have that many words to fill up that many hours of time and space, and to keep it entertaining, to keep it engaging, right? All of us, every single one of us, we're not planning anything that we're saying in the first place, right? We might have a couple bullet points of what we want to talk about, but what it boils down to is the words just show up because our nonverbal connection to ourselves and our connection to God and our infiniteness of being and our genius levels of thought starts to come through, okay? Are you starting to see the picture? Are you starting to see how your mental and emotional alignment is going to determine even your communication mastery, right? And then when you're a massively confident person, you have nothing holding you back, you know absolutely what you want, and you know that nothing is going to stop you, but then you're also an empathetic person, you can feel for other people, and you understand even the game of life is a team sport. When you have this perspective, you simply get high level results, okay? And I say life is a team sport because no one becomes successful on their own. That's a myth, right? All these rap songs that are talking about, I did it on my own, right? I'm thinking of that one song. There's a song by Lil Baby where the song is literally called Never Needed No Help. He did it all on his own, all by himself. It's all bullshit. No one ever becomes successful by themselves. You need strong, capable, dependable people in your circle, not just your friends and your networks and your business associates, but even your romantic partner, right? Your ability to invite a supportive, collaborative romantic partner, whether you're a guy or a girl, if you want to have a strong, supportive wife or husband, you need to be able to communicate that into your existence. You need to be able to know exactly and be extremely resolute on what are those qualities and characteristics that you desire out of your romantic partner. And then when you're actually in connection with that person, to be able to diffuse confrontation and diffuse a lot of the friction that is going to arise. How do you do this? Well, you have high levels of communication, because when you can be empathetic to the other person, but also remain firm on your boundaries of what you expect out of the relationship, well, guess what? You guys start to grow together. And a beautiful relationship is one where you guys are interdependent with one another. So independently, you guys are okay, but together, you guys are significantly better. That is the hallmark of a valuable and a loving and a fruitful relationship, where both of you guys energize each other to that next level. The masculine and feminine coming together literally brings about heaven on earth. But the thing is, people don't know how to communicate. People don't know how to communicate with each other. People don't know how to communicate, period. And I'm telling you, the vast majority of you out there, you think you have good communication. I promise you don't. And when you know what it is that you want, and you can explain it and elaborate it in a way that hits the other person, not only on the emotional level, but it's very clear and concise what it is that you expect out of it, you will invite amazing relationships, not only in your romantic life, but in your business, in your friends, and even repair and fix a lot of the relationship problems you have with like your family and whatnot, because family dynamics are oftentimes the most complicated. Like I said earlier in this video, 96% of families are dysfunctional to some degree. And when you can get you as a powerful being, you can get your family on the same page, that is also a beautiful thing. All of this is about becoming the type of person who can go out into the world and bring about more love, bring about more consciousness, raise the quality of consciousness of all the people around you, so that way everybody lives better, okay? And so that is what the Triforce of Mastery is. You master your mindset, you master your heart and your emotional connection with yourself, and you master your ability to communicate, and you do so with precision, and you're able to handle confrontational situations with grace and with professionalism and with sophistication. You will naturally and automatically be the type of person that makes a bunch of money, that has high level friendships, that is disciplined and consistent with their goals, that is in a high level of integrity, and is sharing their love with all the people that they want to be with. And that is the type of person who has a lot of status, a lot of influence, and is a very solutions-oriented person. You'll be the type of person that people rely on for guidance and for truth. That is what being a leader is. Not only a leader spiritually, but a leader in business, a leader of teams, a leader of movement. All of it is dependent upon your ability to master yourself and use the Triforce to conquer the realm of your reality. And so you want to be the hero of your story, use the Triforce of Mastery. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.